Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi departs for Johannesburg to attend G20 Leaders Summit, also to participate in India-Brazil-South Africa Leaders Meet. India and Israel to begin FTA negotiations. In terms of reference, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal says dates would be soon finalized. Ukraine President Zelenskyy to discuss US proposed Russia-Ukraine peace plan with Donald Trump soon. Prime Minister Narendra Modi en route to Johannesburg, South Africa to attend the 20th G20 Leaders Summit being hosted by the Republic of South Africa. This will be the fourth consecutive G20 summit held in the Global South. Before departure, Prime Minister Modi issued a statement. I am visiting the Republic of South Africa from 21 to 23rd of November 2025 at the invitation of His Excellency Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa to attend the 20th G20 Leaders Summit being held in Johannesburg under South Africa's presidency. This will be a particularly special summit given that it would be the first G20 summit being held in Africa. During India's presidency of the G20 in 2023, the African Union had become a member of the G20. The summit will be an opportunity to discuss key global issues. The theme of this year's G20 has been solidarity, equality and sustainability, by which South Africa has carried forward the outcomes from the previous summits held in New Delhi, India and Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I will present India's perspective at the summit in line with our vision of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and One Earth, One Family and One Future. I look forward to my interactions with leaders of the partner countries and participation in the 6th IPSA summit scheduled on the sidelines of the summit. During the visit, I also look forward to my interaction with the Indian diaspora in South Africa, which is one of the largest outside India. Addressing the media on Prime Minister's visit, Secretary ER at Ministry of External Affairs, Sudhakar Dallela, said that this will be the Prime Minister's 4th official visit to South Africa. He also highlighted that the summit, which is the first G20 summit to take place on African soil, will focus on Global South.
The Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi will be visiting Johannesburg, South Africa from 21st to 23rd of November to attend the G20 Leaders Summit at the invitation of President of South Africa. This will be Prime Minister's 4th official visit to South Africa, following his bilateral visit in 2016 and later for the 2 BRICS summits in 2018 and 2023. This is the first G20 summit that will be happening on African soil, and in that context will bring the spotlight on the development issues of Africa as also of the Global South.
Calling the G20 summit a premium forum for international economic cooperation, Sudhakar Dallela also highlighted that G20 nations represent over 85% of global GDP.
The G20 has emerged as a premium forum for international economic cooperation, as well as for discussing matters of global significance. The G20 provides an excellent opportunity for the leaders of these large economies and emerging economies, representing over 85% of global GDP and around 3/4 of the world population, to come together and discuss important issues impacting the world. The priorities identified by South Africa are aligned with those of India's G20 presidency and that of Brazil, ensuring continuity in the G20 discussions from the perspective of matters that are important to Global South. PM will be participating in the IPSA India, Brazil, South Africa leaders meeting, as well as holding bilateral meeting with several leaders who will be present in Johannesburg.
In a landmark development, India and Israel formally initiated negotiations for a comprehensive free trade agreement on Thursday by signing the terms of reference, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal announced during his visit. Describing the move as historic, Minister Goyal stated that dates for the inaugural round of talks would be finalized shortly, aiming to boost bilateral trade from the current $20 billion to $40 billion within 5 years. The agreement targets enhanced market access in sectors including information technology, agriculture, pharmaceuticals and defense, building on a preferential trade pact since 2013. Israeli Economy Minister Nir Barkat hailed the step as a catalyst for innovation-driven growth, while Indian officials emphasized mutual benefits for small and medium enterprises. Negotiations that were paused briefly due to geopolitical tensions now prioritize a swift conclusion to foster resilient supply chains. During his visit to Israel, Union Minister Piyush Goyal addressed a gathering at the gala dinner with Israeli company CEOs. The minister expressed solidarity with Israel and highlighted the shared struggle both countries faced against terrorism.
The last 2 years have been difficult times for our brothers and sisters of Israel, but you have shown tremendous resilience in the face of adversity. We in India also have suffered terrorism for several decades now. We had blasts in New Delhi, right in the heart of the capital. And I think both of us, the people of Israel, the people of India, have to work together to eliminate this problem of terrorism. We have to work together to ensure peace and security in both our countries.
Secretary at the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, Ambassador C.B. George had a productive meeting with Secretary General of the European External Action Service, Belen Martinez Carbonell, at the EU headquarters in Brussels. Both leaders discussed the strong momentum in India-EU strategic partnership. Ambassador briefed her on the extensive consultations with EEAS on foreign policy and security and the strategic partnership review. Both the leaders reviewed work on the joint India-EU comprehensive strategic agenda in the run-up to the next India-EU summit. IFFI 2025 day witnessing a lot of action. Starting from Creative Minds of Tomorrow, a 48-hour unique challenge that invites all young minds to create content, to the ongoing Waves Film Bazaar, a marketplace that offers various opportunities. IFFI rolls the red carpet as well to many of the films and the cast along with the crew members. Apart from that, IFFI will also start from today onwards here in Goa. The 56th edition of the IFFI kicked off on Thursday with its first ever cultural parade that brought together the world of cinema under one roof. Up next is an exclusive report from Goa on IFFI's opening day by DD India's Deepika Mehta.
The 56th International Film Festival of India opened with an immersive grand parade. With its maiden parade opening, IFFI welcomed its audience with a moving celebration revealed through rhythm, color, pride and breathtaking imagination. From Entertainment Society of Goa office to Kala Academy, this one-of-its-kind parade transformed the streets of Goa into a living canvas of India's cinematic and cultural brilliance.
I welcome one and all those who have come specially for the International Film Festival 2025. Why the IFFI flourished here for more than 2 decades? The answer is simple. The Goa is ready to offer the world-class infrastructure.
Under the visionary leader of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi G, to speak about this cinema and media entertainment sector, our Honorable Prime Minister mentioned that, I mentioned this quote, this is the time of dawn of orange economy in India, content, creativity and culture, the 3 pillars of orange economy.
The parade was led by the magnificent state tableaus of Andhra Pradesh, Haryana and Goa, each presenting a vivid portrait of identity and imagination. The parade opened with breathtaking energy of Central Bureau of Communications Bharat Ek Sur presentation. Waves OTT stole the show with its magnificent display. Adding charm, nostalgia and delight were India's beloved animation favourites Chhota Bheem and Chutki and Motu Patlu and Bittu Bahanebaz. Moving on, the day also witnessed the felicitation of the cast of the opening film, The Blue Trail by Gabriel Mascaro.
No, I'm so happy to be able to share my movie with the Indian audience. It's a very special festival. I've been here 5 years ago, and I'm so happy to be back and see the festival alive and being able to be connected to the Indian industry, cinema industry is so special. I'm so happy to be here.
The 10-day extravaganza has officially kick-started now, where global celebrities, filmmakers and emerging talent will not only walk the red carpet, but will witness the convergence of several film industries from around the globe under one roof. And with such colourful displays, IFFI 2025 kick-started with a grand opening parade this time, showcasing rich cultural heritage of the film industry of not only the world but the entire globe, bringing together all under the single roof. With camera person Senthil, this is Deepika reporting for DD India.
India's President Draupadi Murmu is on a visit to Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. On Friday morning, she offered prayers at Lord Venkateshwara Swami Temple in Tirumala. Later in the day, the President will inaugurate the Bharatiya Kala Mahotsav 2025 at Rashtrapati Nilayam, Bolaram, Sikandrabad. The second edition of the Bharatiya Kala Mahotsav will showcase the rich cultural, culinary and artistic traditions of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Goa, Dadar and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. World Fisheries Day, observed worldwide on 21st of November, underscores the critical role of sustainable fisheries and aquaculture in supporting food and nutritional security, livelihood generation and ecological balance. This year, World Fisheries Day is being observed with the theme India's Blue Transformation, strengthening value addition in seafood exports. The celebrations carry a global character, with India hosting participants from across the country and overseas, including delegations from 27 nations, reflecting the country's growing leadership and partnerships in blue economy. India stands as the second largest fish producing country globally, accounting for nearly 8% of the world's fish output. The fishery sector remains a critical source of food, employment and income for millions, particularly in coastal and rural communities, and has experienced a remarkable expansion in both scale and sustainability over the past decade. India's Union Home Minister Amit Shah attended the Border Security Forces Diamond Jubilee celebrations as the chief guest on Friday. The minister's presence marked a significant moment at BSF's 61st Raising Day at 176th Battalion Campus in Gujarat's Bhuj. The event honors the dedication, courage and sacrifices of Border Security Force personnel who safeguard India's borders. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. US Judge halts Trump's National Guard deployment in Washington, D.C. India has achieved record total food production for the year 2024-25 compared to the previous year. Lakshya Sen enters semi-final at the Australian Open badminton tournament in Sydney.
India did not agree that Hindus and Muslims could not live together. This was a birth of a country or two countries, but it was a birth that was also an abortion, because you were literally killing this country that was being born at that point. Every time a Muslim came to prominence in India, President of India, Chief Justice of India, cricket captains, whatever, it was a standing rebuke of the very Pakistani idea. If a Muslim could achieve all this in India, then why did Pakistan need to be created?
You're watching DD Live. I am Prasar Bharati. In a latest update on Russia-Ukraine conflict, the Kremlin said on Thursday that Russian President Vladimir Putin had visited the command post of the Russian forces West grouping, where he had met with the chief of Russia's General Staff Valery Gerasimov and top military brass. The Russian army claimed to have again captured the Ukrainian city of Kupiansk, a key Kiev bastion in the eastern Kharkiv region, where Russia's soldiers have been steadily advancing. While Ukraine's General Staff denied claims made by the Chief of the General Staff of the Russian Army, Valery Gerasimov, said that Russian forces have captured the city of Kupiansk. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy said he had discussed with the visiting Secretary of the US Army on Thursday ways to work with Washington on a plan to end the conflict with Russia. After meeting a delegation that included Daniel Driscoll, Secretary of the US Army in Kiev, Zelenskyy in a social media post said, "Our teams will work on the points of the plan to end the conflict." Zelenskyy's office said he had received a draft of the US-backed plan and he expects to discuss it with US President Donald Trump in coming days. Following the Ukraine-US officials meet, the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on Thursday said that the administration is having good conversations with both parties on how to end the conflict.
So they have been engaged with both sides, and these talks are continuing. As always, I'm not going to litigate the details of this plan as it's ongoing and it's in flux, but the president supports this plan. It's a good plan for both Russia and Ukraine, and we believe that it should be acceptable to both sides, and we're working very hard to get it done.
US President Donald Trump on Thursday removed his 40% tariffs on Brazilian food products, including beef, coffee, cocoa and fruits that were imposed in July, dropping steep tariffs he imposed this summer. In an executive order released by the White House, the order will affect Brazilian imports to the US on or after November 13 and may require a refund of the duties collected on those goods while the tariffs were still being charged. The order effectively removes the 40% duty that was still on those goods after Trump dropped Brazil's 10% reciprocal duty on a long list of food products as part of a separate action last week. The move follows a similar order by the administration last Friday to remove tariffs on several agricultural products as the White House makes a U-turn on some tariffs that have increased the cost of food in the United States. A federal judge appointed by former US President Joe Biden ruled on Thursday that US President Donald Trump must immediately terminate the months-long National Guard deployment in Washington, D.C., delivering a sharp legal blow to his plan to send troops into major cities despite local opposition. United States District Judge Gia Cobb ruled that deploying roughly 1,000 out-of-state Guard members for law enforcement duties violated laws prohibiting military involvement in domestic policing and usurped Mayor Muriel Bowser's authority. She stayed the order until December 11th to allow an appeal. The decision aligns with successful challenges by Democrats Los Angeles, Chicago and Portland, though an appeals court has temporarily preserved the Los Angeles deployment. A US appeals court suspended the release of hundreds of people on bail after they had been arrested by immigration authorities in the Midwestern state of Illinois as part of President Donald Trump's crackdown. In September, the Trump administration began an operation by Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Illinois dubbed Midway Blitz, targeting suspected undocumented immigrants, particularly in its major city, Chicago, a stronghold for Democrats. However, the appeals court, after a filing by Trump administration, challenged the ruling, suspended the release of the detainees until it decides on the matter, setting a hearing for December 2nd. Since returning to the White House in January, Trump has made cracking down on illegal immigration a top priority, often referring to it as an invasion. A moderate earthquake jolted Dhaka and several other parts of Bangladesh on Friday morning. The 5.7 magnitude earthquake forced residents to rush outdoors in alarm as buildings shook across the capital. According to the Bangladesh Meteorological Department, the quake struck with its epicenter located in Madhabdi, in fact, under Narsingdi district. In Dhaka, the tremor was felt strongly for a few seconds, causing high-rise buildings to sway. The EU is prepared to take direct stakes in Australian critical minerals projects and will soon announce a list of projects it will support. The European Union wants access to critical minerals like lithium and rare earths from resource-rich Australia, which are vital to industries spanning artificial intelligence to defense. Vulnerabilities in the supply chain have come into sharp focus this year, with dominant producer China restricting exports in a tit-for-tat trade standoff with the United States. A previous attempt to reach a trade deal failed in 2023, with Canberra wanting more ability to sell farm goods in Europe. Former Peruvian President Martin Vizcarra pleaded not guilty on Thursday to corruption charges stemming from his time as governor of the southern Moquegua region. Vizcarra, who served as Peru's president from 2018 to 2020, faces up to 15 years in prison on allegations that he received approximately $710,000 in bribes from construction companies between 2014 and 2016. Prosecutors allege the payments were made in exchange for awarding contracts for projects during his tenure as regional governor from 2011 to 2014. Vizcarra told the court during closing arguments that he has confidence in the judges and pleaded to attend all remaining hearings and listen to the verdict when the tribunal issues its decision. The court will deliver its final ruling on November 26. Demonstrators took to the streets of Mexico City on Thursday to protest insecurity, rising violence and corruption. Protesters marched from the Angel of Independence Monument through several streets toward the Zocalo Square. They waved Mexican flags, voiced frustration over worsening security conditions and government corruption. However, they were unable to access the square due to celebrations marking the anniversary of the Revolution Day. The demonstration drew citizens demanding justice for specific cases of violence, including the assassination of Uruapan Mayor Carlos Manzo. In Nepal's Bara district, violence continued for a second day on Thursday after Wednesday's clash at Samara airport between protesting youths and cadres of Communist Party of Nepal Unified Marxist-Leninist welcoming leader Mahesh Basnet. Police arrested 38-year-old local Arvind Shah and two UML ward chairpersons following complaints of assault on the protesting youths. Demonstrators blocked the Birgunj-Pathalia highway all day Thursday, refusing talks until arrests were made. When clashes erupted with police, tear gas and warning shots were fired, injuring 6 officers and 4 protesters. A curfew was imposed until 8 Thursday evening. Nepal Sports and Youth Minister Bablu Gupta have gone to for talks and discussions on the Bara incident as the district struggles to restore order. India has achieved record total food production for the year 2024-25 compared to the previous year. India's Union Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, released the final estimates of crop production for 2024-25 in New Delhi. He expressed gratitude to the nation's farmers for achieving this record high output. He also welcomed the encouraging rise in the production of pulses and oilseeds. The Union Minister said India is witnessing the highest increase in food grain production in the last 10 years. From 251.54 million tons in 2015-16, production has risen by 106 million tons to reach 357.73 million tons. This reflects the rapid growth in the agriculture sector under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He added, here's a detailed report.
Success to India's agriculture sector. Final estimates of crop production for 2024-25 states nearly 8% record growth in total food grain output. Food grain production rises to 357.73 million tons in 2024-25. Union Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan expresses gratitude to farmers for achieving record production. Historic growth of over 106 million tons in total food grain. Oilseed output touches nearly 43 million tons, an increase of more than 8%. Record food grain output of 357.73 million tons last year. Wheat production reached a record level of 1,179.45 lakh tons, which is 46.53 lakh tons higher. Rice production reached a record level of 1,501.84 lakh tons, which is 123.59 lakh tons higher.
Nikat Zareen and Jasmine Lamboria led India's gold rush as the country's pugilists finished with 20 medals, including 9 gold, 6 silver and 5 bronze at the World Cup in fact, World Boxing Cup finals on the outskirts of New Delhi. Reigning women's 48 kg world champion Meenakshi Huda registered the first goal for India after beating Uzbekistan's Fazilova Farzona in Greater Noida, while Zareen and Lamboria set the tone for the evening session. Nikat dominated Chinese Taipei's Yizhuan Guo 5-0 by unanimous decision in the 51 kg women's final before Jasmine beat Wu Shiyi in the 57 kg boxing title decider by a 4-1 margin. In fact, all 20 Indian boxers who competed in the 5-day season ender competition managed a podium finish. The Indian women boxers ruled the show, winning 7 of 10 possible gold medals, while the men managed 2. India's Lakshya Sen defeated compatriot Ayush Shetty 23-21, 21-11 in the quarter-final of the Australian Open badminton tournament in Sydney. Shetty took a 3-point lead to begin the contest, but Lakshya stormed back to win the first game. It was a different scenario in the second game as Lakshya raised to a 6-1 lead. He was in no mood to relent as he extended his lead after the break, before Shetty sparked late hopes of a comeback with 4 consecutive points. But Lakshya Sen closed out the game with the next 2 points and set up a semi-final clash with Cho Tin Chen. That's all for this edition of DD in Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available both on Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.